Hey guys, Jimbo here. Today I want to talk about modifying a Hennessy hammock to use continuous loop suspension instead of the specter cord that they come with from the factory. Specter line's heavy and you have to lash it or use some kind of knot. It's just in my opinion, pain in the ass. It slips a lot and I just have a hard time with it. Also, I switched to Beetle buckles, which is super easy deployment. So after I show you how I modified the hammock, I want to go into how I shaved over 4 pounds off my base weight in 3 areas. One was my hammock, one was my backpack, and one was my tarp. Those 3 things I was able to shave over 4 pounds. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you how the modification goes. It's very straightforward. It's super simple. I did it while on camera, both ends, in under 5 minutes, and here's how I did it. In today's episode, we're going to modify a Hennessy Hammock Explorer XL Classic with some continuous loops from Dutchware, and then I bought Beetle buckles to work with it instead of my tree straps. I'm trying to save some weight, make everything a little easier when I get on the trail. To do this, I'm going to need to remove my sheath and then my specter cord, and then we'll install either the black or the red continuous loop on either side, and then I will reinstall the sheath and we'll flip it over and we'll do the other side also, and then we'll weigh the whole thing and see how much weight I've dropped, since we already know how much my unit weighed before. So with that, let's take this sheath off. Okay, so as you can see, there's a zip tie that we have to take off. You want to be careful not to screw up your hammock. So I'm just going to feed that bottom side of the blade in there and give it a cut. Just like that. And then we should be able to just pull it right through. And there it goes. And that's the end. Okay, now we're going to pull the sheath off. It just comes right off. Alright, so that's what the sheath looks like. We'll put that back on in a minute. Okay, now let's see what the kind of crazy knot they have on here. I've heard there's some pretty whacked out knots. Okay, so it looks like just have to feed this through. It's on there pretty tight too. I'm just kind of pushing away from it to get it loose enough where I can work with it. All right, so there's that part. Looks like I need to go through this hole. Okay, so I got some long nose pliers because this is really, it's in there, it's burnt in there. And oh, actually, there it goes. This is trial and error here. Okay. So now that I'm just going to pull all of that specter cord right through that hole. Now, okay, so this little line here is my ridge line, and we want to make sure we don't mess with it too much, so I'm going to be somewhat delicate around it. Okay. And I'm just going to push this through. It's getting simpler. There it goes. Now it's just wrapped around. All right, so now the specter cord is off. So that's how much specter cord come off one side. Okay, so I got 2 colors for my continuous loop. Red is for the head, like I said earlier, and this is the foot side because I had it marked. So this is the foot side, so I'm going to use black. This thing here is where how they somehow fuse the continuous loop together. We want that to be somewhere in this region to where when we put it all together, it's not on our working end. So with that, we want to shove this through this hole here, just like that. Then we want to go through our ridge line, like that. Now we're going to just shove it right back through this hole here. Just kind of have to just manhandle it. do is you grab it with this. There we go. Now, all I'm going to do is put this other end right through the bottom of that one and tighten it up. Just trying to get all the excess slack out of it as I can. And that is all there is to it. Now we're going to put the sheath back on. Okay, to put the sheath on, all you got to do is pretty much just thread this thing on. Again, it's just all about, it's like threading a needle. Just put it in there and keep working it until it comes out. There it is. All right. So at this point, I need to go find a Ziploc to thread through there. Okay, so now I have a thread. Now I have a Ziploc, so I'm gonna thread it through the hole. I'm just pretty much just working it. I'm gonna take the loose end and just keep shoving it through. And there it is. Okay. I'm gonna put it on there as far as I can get it to go. You don't really have to have the sheath, but I like it because it seems to make it look a little cleaner, and I just think it's good. Help keep everything nice and tight and clean. I'm gonna put that sucker on nice and tight, and I'm gonna clip it off. All right, just to be crazy, I just want to file this edges because these edges are sharp, and my file is a little overkill, but I didn't feel like looking for my little one. All right, so that's side one. I got my continuous loop. Let's do the other side. Okay. I think it helps to do it with the snakeskins on too. I don't know. It seems to keep the tarp a little, or the hammock a little more contained. Okay, just try to find an opening here to get. So this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I watched one video and pretty much figured it out. It's super easy. I don't know how many videos are out there. I saw the one, it was a really good one. I watched it a couple months ago when I started thinking about doing this, and then I rewatched it just a second ago before I came out here, just to make sure I knew what the heck was going on. And really, this is super simple. My suspension kit from Dutchware cost about $60. It comes with the Beetle buckles, the straps, and then it came with those 2 continuous loops for $60. There's all kinds of options. You can get it as cheap as like $30 depending on what you want. You have to pick what size continuous loop and everything else. And I think I went with 15-inch. I think that was the longest ones. I just wanted the long ones because I figured it would probably be better. I don't know. I knew I didn't want short ones. All right, so there's my second. That's how much I'm taking off of this thing. Okay, so let's do this. This is the red one because this is the head. I'm gonna go through this, through the ridge line, maybe, there. And then back through the other one, just like that. Now we're gonna feed all that through here, tighten her up. And that's what she looks like, just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna throw the sheath on. I mean, literally, this job is super easy and super quick. I'm actually quite impressed with how fast we can get this done. Look at that, it just goes right through. All right, I'm gonna feed this on before I put it on there this time. I think it might be a little easier. The hardest part's working around my camera, to be honest with you. If I was just at a workbench sitting down, this would be a lot easier. But I'm not. Okay. There it is. All right, the end is near, folks. Okay, now I'm just gonna push this thing on there as far as I can get it. Make it look pretty. Tighten her down, clip it off. Drag a file across it a couple times. We're done. Okay, so now the cool thing about these are, after you put the straps around the tree, all you have to do with the Beetle buckle is that right there, and you are hanging. That's all it is. That's why I chose these instead of cinch buckles, because I want my suspension to be separate than my hammock. My suspension could get wet, like very wet if it rains, so I don't really want it wrapped up in my hammock. And I usually keep like a small stuff sack, which I know that's more weight, but I like keeping my suspension in a little bag, and then next to my tarp, and then separate than this. So let's get a weight on this. Okay, so I think my plan is to keep it in a Ziploc bag, and then I can just put it right on top of here, and then if my suspension is wet, the bag will help keep my hammock somewhat dry. So I'm gonna zip this up, and we're gonna hang it up and see how much it weighs. Okay, here we go. The reveal. It is 2 pounds, 6 ounces. That is my hammock, just how I carry it, with the new continuous loop suspension and my Beetle buckle tree strap suspension. This is my Hennessy Hammock Explorer Deluxe Classic XL, exactly how I carry it when I pack back, and we're gonna see how much it weighs. It is 2 pounds, 6 ounces, and that is with the original suspension. Now I want to weigh the Hennessy, how I carry it, with my straps that I carry with it. This is the Hennessy with the suspension and tree straps that I use. It is now 2 pounds, 14 ounces. This is my Hennessy Hammock Typhoon. It's got doors, and this is exactly how I carry it whenever I went camping and hiking. And right now I want to see how much it weighs. Okay, we've got 2 pounds, 1 ounce for the Hennessy. This is my Hammock Gear Cuban Fiber Dyneema Tarp with doors. It's exactly how I carry it. It has a 30-foot ridgeline by Dutchware. It's got all the shock cord tie-outs with mitten hooks, and I fitted it with all the door shock line with cords since the last trip, and I've also added the tie-outs for my pole mod. So we're gonna get a weight on this. 11 ounces as it sits. So now we can do the math on how much I'm saving from that tarp, from the Typhoon Hennessy tarp. This is my Magellan backpack, the first one I bought for $90 from Academy. It has nothing in it, and it is exactly 4 pounds. It's a really good beginner backpack. I'm super happy with it. I plan on keeping it and using it for shorter hikes where I need more carry weight. It's really good for carrying heavy weight for short periods of time. So Magellan, 4 pounds. This is my new backpack. It's the Z-Packs Arc Haul. It has both side belt pouches. It's got the front FUPA pouch. It's got 2 upper mesh pockets. Those are all add-ons, and I'm going to measure it all together because this is how I carry it. And we have 1 pound, 10 ounces for my backpack.